Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavadu Sahano Punaktu Sakaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvina Vadidamastuma Vitvishabhagai Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvaraya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketase cha. Namaskaram, good morning. So we are in the Kathopanaishad, second Adhyaya, the last Valli, the third Valli. We started the first mantra in the last class. We recap and then we move forward. The last month, in this Adhyayam, he is furthering the truth that he revealed in the second Adhyayam, second Valli. What was that? Jivo Ishvara Naparaha Jagan Mithya Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Ishvara Naparaha. That's how we interpret from the Advaitic perspective. As Shankara says, there is only God. Everything else, all appearances, are just the frame of mind. So that is the profound truth of Vedas. So here he's going to give you different kalpanas. You know, in the second Valli, we saw the Ratha Kalpana, Egadasha Dwara Ratha. So here he is giving a Vriksha Kalpana. Urdhvamulo Avakshaka Yeshu Asvat Sanadanaha Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma Tadevamrita Uchyate Tasmin Loka Shrita Sarve Tadunatyedi Kaschana Etad Vaitat. So here he is giving Vriksha Kalpana, an imagination of a tree. What is being imagined as a tree? Here Shankara says the whole Prabhanjam. What is Prabhanjam? All manifestation. The Panchabhutas embodiment which comes out with different characters and gunas, where we dwell and spend our samsara. In other words, the Jagat. So here the tree, Jagat includes the Jiva. So what is the point of seeing the Prabhanjam as a tree? Because we are going to see the root of the tree, what causes the Prabhanjam to come. If you take the tree as a samsara, what causes the samsara to come? If you take the tree as the Vedas, what causes the Veda to manifest as a sound? So we're going to see a different way this is being presented in different granthas. But here, the purpose of saying this is, of course, there's no point in learning about this whole world, which is like a big tree. But you look at the wonder of this tree is inverted, upside down. I'm giving a very ordinary meaning that people take. Urdhvamulo. Urdhvam means up. Mulaha, the mula of the tree, the cause of the tree is up. Avakshagaha. Avakshagaha means all those branches are down. And he calls the tree Yeshaha Ashwataha. I made a mistake last time saying that as a banyan tree. No, it's banyan tree called a metavriksham. With Dakshinamurti seeds. Here it is called a pipal tree or fig tree. Some do call it as a banyan tree, but banyan tree doesn't fit this simile. It is called Arasamaram in Tamil, pipal tree, where the kings used to come and tie their horses. Ashwam. The word Ashwam itself is very interesting because Shwa means in Sanskritam, one of the meaning is tomorrow. That is coming. So Ashwa means that may not come. So Ashwa means a tomorrow that is not promised, an undefinable, an impermanent, doubtful future. So this tree is called Ashwatha tree, means it is a doubtful tree. What does it mean? Why you say doubtful tree? Because it is going to keep changing. It is not in the same place, not the same form. It is that way, it is not a kudastha satyam. So we're going to see that. Of course, Ashwam also means hearts, right? That's why Ashwa, the tree is where the Ashwam is tied up. The Ashwam is the emperor's horses. So it's called Arasamaram. But that is not really helping us here. Maybe the Ashwam is also going very fast. It doesn't stay. Okay. You see Ashwam here, next minute it's not, it's gone, it's running. So like that, the Prapancham is running. So here, we saw in the last class, Bhagavan Shankara takes it and say, this Prapancham is created from the root Brahma. The up and down has no meaning at all, isn't it? What is up? What is down? It depends on where you are. If you go to the space where the earth is down or up, depending on where you are in the position of the celestial geometry. So we will not use that Vachyartham up and down, but we use Urdhvam as the superior. The superior cause. Why do you have to have a superior adjective to this? Because we are going to see. Because this moolam, which is the root, is going to be amritam. But what about all the tree? It's going to be sanatana. An upside tree, root is up there. We call it as a superior being. And it says, Tadeva Shukram Tat Brahmam, Tadevam Amritam Uchyate. That is called Amritam, that is called Brahmam, that is called purity. What about the rest of it? Abhakshagaha, Eshaha, Ashwataha, Vrushaha, Sanatanaha. The tree that is below, that is coming out, is also Sanatana. What is Sanatanam here? Here Sanatanam should be taken for the Vachyartha. Sanatana, ever refreshed. Sanatana means eternal is the Lakshyartham. Vachyartha means ever refreshed, ever fresh. How can something be ever fresh? Only when it is changes by the time and space. Otherwise, it is old, especially old, VSOP, very special, old preserved. Purana. So something that is always changes and remain fresh, but eternally going, is called Sanatanam. It's It's called a Pravaga Satyam. Like a river. If you look at the river just flows. It is always flowing, so eternally flowing river. But you can never step into the same water again, because the moment you see the river, it is gone. It's a pravagam. So you can see now. So your mananam therefore takes this particular point. So when you say nityam, it could be a pravaga nityam or kudastha nityam. Try to practice this Sanskrit words because it's much easier, because every word contains a lot of meaning, quite easy to contemplate. That's why I'm not translating everything. I want you to get used to this. So pravagam nityam, eternally flowing. Kudastha nityam, eternally stable. So satyam ritam. Ritam vadishyami, satyam vadishyami. In English, we say ritam. That's a flow, a beautiful flow, well-ordered flow. So now you imagine the tree now, the root up, branches down. Root is eternally staying, eternally there. That is Amritam. This eternally means you can't take it away. You cannot uproot the tree and throw the root away. You cannot do. But what we can do, why are we learning about this? Because we are going to find a way to uproot this tree, because it is putting you in a samsaric torture. Here, uprooting means going into the root and staying in the root, not blossoming like this jungle of tree. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen a tree like that with the root on the top and the branches coming down? Maybe in a movie you can see. But then why this kind of impossible example is taken? See, Vedanta has got only half a dozen examples to use, and they keep being used again and again because they are so simple and so profound. Now you will have a clear interest to know about this tree if I tell you, you know the tree, you have seen the tree, always you see the tree. What is that? Just go look at yourself in the mirror. You are the tree. Your root is here. Everything, right from the sperm that goes into the womb, everything is carried in the head part of it, the top part of it. Consciousness, we say, awareness, we say, knowledge, we say, brain, we say physically. So everything grows below, hands. So therefore, you can also take, it's called Jiva Vriksham. Don't be afraid to take the example to extrapolate. We're going to see how Bhagavan Krishna in Bhagavad Gita takes it as Veda Vriksham. He also say Samsara Vriksham. He's going to say that one. And in the, let me see, what is that? Yeah, here I have this sloga of Bhagavad Gita. We'll come back to this after this. So here what he says, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, what is he saying? Urdhumulam adashakaha ashvatam brahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. Exactly verbatim, he take Kathopanaishad and gives a slightly different interpretation for the context. Urdhva moolam, the roots above, supreme. Adhyaya means not upstairs, that means downwards. Shaktam, that is branches of the ashwatam, the tree. Bhagavan says, Praduhu, all the learned people speak. See the Vinayam of Bhagavan. He says, I say. No, he doesn't say that. All the learned say, Avyayam Chandamsi. Avyaya means eternal. Chandamsi, all the Vedas. No. Chandamsi Yasya Parnani. This tree, the Brahmam is a tree. In the tree, there are a lot of leaves. These leaves are nothing but the shaga of the Vedas, Veda mantras. So now he is taking the vriksham as a Veda vriksham. See, the example can be used in so many ways. So if you understand this as a Veda vriksha, that means yaha tam Veda saha Vedavid. So who understands this Veda truly? If you understand, Vedas are coming like branches of different shaga with the different mantras of Vedic leaves sprouting from the Brahman. Apursheya. See how this example is being used in this one. In the Brahma Purana, the Vishnu Puranam, it says Brahma Viksha Sanatanaha. The Vishnu Puranam talks about this tree as a Brahma Viksha. The Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahma Pucham Pradishta. Pucham means tall manifestation. Brahma Pucham Pradishta. The Brahman is established as an infinite pole of a tree. Of course, there are different schools of thought. They take this Brahma Bhuchavadis, they even take, if it is like a pole, then it's an object of observation. Therefore, they were used for Dvaitavada. We don't go there. Well, what it means here is Brahman is Urdhva Moolam. That is where it goes through. Urdhva Moolam. In the Bhagavatam also, we saw that when we saw the Bhagavata Purana Mahatmya, remember, they use the same tree in Dasmaskandam, in the Krishna Paramatma Jananam. The tree is called Adivrkshaha. Adivrksha means the perennial tree, which is the foremost of everything else. There is a kind of a different interpretation. Ekayanaha, Dvipalaha, Trimulaha, Chadurasaha, like that. Like Ekayanaha means his ayana means from one root. That means it's coming from one source. That is Brahman. Tribalaha, its fruit is two. What is the two? Happiness and sadness. Trimulaha. It is stem is coming out of the three mulas. What are that? Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. The tree has got Chadur Rasaha. There are four rasam. They are the Purushartham, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Panchavidaha. The tree gives you 5 types of experiences. That is 5 senses: smelling, tasting, touching, shabda, sparisa, gandha, like that comes here. Nama, rupa, gandha. Shat urmilaha. It goes on like this. So 10 different kind of examples in the Bhagavad. So what I'm saying is, Vedas gives you example, and great Bhashyakaras take the examples and they infer into that one to give you a much better potency of understanding. So we hear what you're doing. We are now looking at basically as Prabanja Vrisham. That means all the Jagat is here. Bhagavan goes very poetically on this. He says it is the karma, avidya as a root, and the stem has got the um, karma palas, and then you have the tamo, rajas, gunas are coming there. Buddhi, ahankara, indriyas are rooting. Trishna, the desire, is the pouring the water, and so on and so forth. Sukha dukkhamas are the rasams. So this is poetry again. But Moola Avatarene, Tula Avatarnath. You can, the reason all this we do is to know the Brahma. If I know this tree as a samsara or a prabanja, or that which is sprouting away from this Brahma, what do I have to do? In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan was very assertive because he is teaching Karma Veera Arjuna, say, just take an axe and cut the tree. Cutting is not uprooting because you can't take the root away. Cut it out. So if it's a samsara tree, cut the samsara tree. How do I cut it? It's a big tree, right? So you can't cut it with a lot of branches there. So what is all these leaves? So if you look at Shankara's Bhashyam here, he says the leaves are all the Vishayas. The branches are different lokas. It could be a Bhurbhuva Swaha, or you can have a Adala Vidala Padala, Swarga Narakam. Everything is there. What is heaven? What is hell? There's no such thing as a separate place for heaven or hell. When your experience is giving you peace and happiness, pleasure and joy, you enjoy. You should go all the way and go up there somewhere, the judgmenting day, and tell the God, okay, I've done a lot of punya, where is the Swarga? He will say, you missed it. I put you there in Swarga. It's called earth. And you are not enjoying it. You are finding gaps. You are finding problems. You are suffering. You did some good things, but if you come back now, I can only take you to another world, like an earth. Go there. And you go there and you see again lots of people like you. Same old cat, rat. So it is not accepted in our Shastras. There is a heaven. There is a hell. But they are all used in Puranas to inculcate at the kindergarten level for us to say, do the right thing. It's going to come in the next mantra. That is the purpose of this mantra. Okay? So to cut the tree, therefore, what I have to do? So I need to shake the tree or pull all those leaves away. Because if you take the leaves away from the tree, eventually the tree will die. Is it not? Because the tree does the photosynthesis, it creates a protein, all the energy for the tree to grow. That's why in nature, in London, of course, we know this, the tree will shed the leaves in the winter. Why does it do it? Because the ice will come on the leaf, and the leaf get sick. When it's sick, the tree gets sick. Therefore, to avoid all the impediments, it sheds its leaf. So when the trees are shed, in the winter, very easy to uproot the tree. So here the Vishayas are the leaves. So Vishayanandam you should avoid. Vairagyam you need to have. The branches are the different world. So you cut the branches, drop the desires for going to Swarga, Naraka and everything. Because all that drives you to do Kamya karmas. If you do Kamya karmas, you get samsara. So this is the whole philosophy here. We saw that tasmin loka shraddha sarve. So all the world are shritas sarve loka tasmin shridaha. All the world are surviving on this tree. Always remember, world, we say the physical part. It's a Bauddhika Bhumi, we know that. But world for you is, Bauddhika Bhumi is a part of it. It is your experience domain. That's why we take it, the dream world, we call it a dream world. There you create the world. Outside world is different from this. You have influence of our outside world in the dream world. But you are in a different world. So the world, the lokaha, is your experience domain. So all the experience domain are depending on this tree. So don't complain. You are happy sometimes, sad sometimes. That's because you chose to be on the branch. You chose to eat that fruit. You used to enjoy that leaves. So there is a result of that you do. So therefore don't eat the fruits. Don't therefore not indulge on it. Yes, you have to, then you have to follow certain formalities of detachment, vairagyam, vivekam. That leads to karma yogam, upasana. So you, for the survival case, even if you are a jnani, a tapasvi, a jivan mukta, an acharya, you have to eat. You have to take a bath. You have to be saucham. You need to clean your body because you are representing your existence through this embodiment to this world. And this body is given to you as an upati, a upakaranam, to realize the truth. Therefore, it is your responsibility to take care of it. Give it back to the Panchabhutas the way you could possibly give. Of course, karmas will take you away, the disease will come, part of the body will rot. You can't help it. But your prayatnam should be to take care of it. So you can be the bird on the samsara tree, but you know what fruit you eat and why you eat, because the bhavana is everything. The bhavana is everything. The attitude is not in the physical action. The body is insentient. My hand slapped somebody. So is my hand cruel? I am not cruel. Hand doesn't do anything. My mind thought this man is doing something bad. So it's a mind that is doing this action. And if I do it for a cause without me having any particular benefit out of it, for a dharma, then that is a different thing. That is why even ahimsa is not a conditional qualification in Sanatana Dharma. Like Jainism, ahimsa is paramount, uncompromised. But it's difficult. You eat something. When you eat, you kill bacteria. Digestion is annihilation. We only enjoy the taste of any food we eat. As soon as it goes in there, there is a violence happening there. Different bacteria, different cells eat them. Something eats something else. But is it a himsa or not? Himsa is therefore not the physical slaughtering, physical thing. It is the attitude of it, the intention of it. This is what Bhagavan was laboring in to Arjuna. Of course, for Arjuna's case, the excuse was to fight. In our case, to fight not the war with the bows and arrows, the war in this samsaric sagra. A soldier to kill, a policeman to beat up a thief, all that is not himsa. So So here, therefore, what we have to understand, the samsara vriksham, if now we are taking the vriksham as samsara vriksham, prabanja vriksham, the root is in the Brahmam. I am a jiva, like a little bird, I'm hopping from place to place. Sometimes I put my desire as a water to the root, it grows. So therefore, I am perpetually convoluted in the bush of a tree. Then suddenly I realized, it comes in a different Upanishad, this metaphor. There's another bird sitting there that is poised. It is sitting there like as if nothing happens. It doesn't feel hungry, it doesn't feel agitated. That is up there in this branch. Then it is jumps slowly. To jump, it needs energy. Some of the fruits, if I eat, I get so weighed down, I go down. Some of the food I eat, it gives me sleep, I sleep. But some fruits give me protein. My wings grow, I jump up. So this Prabanja tree, the Shagas also in the branches, Vedas also in the branches. Because every karma, this karma kantas are there. So if you can pick up those fruit which gives you jnanam, it gives you energy to rise up in the branches. When you rise up and you go, and you see that other bird there, and you want to go and be with her, the moment you go near there, you disappear, you become that bird. There were never two birds, but there is always a perception of two birds. That the elevation of your thinking, understanding, realization makes you that I am not this embodied jiva, I am the Tadeva Shukram, Tat Brahmam, Tadevam Amritam Uchyate. So the Amritam is the Brahmam, Sanadanam is this tree. The tree, please don't take the Sanadanam to the Sanadana for the Hinduism. That is, we talk about Satyam, that's different. Here, this example, literal meaning of Sanadana is Prabhaga Satyam. The samsara is always going to be there. Unless and until you realize that you are none other than the Brahman. This is a synthesis which puts aside all other Vedantic schools as well, all Dvaitic schools also, all Nastikas as well, because you will be eternally, you may be making lots of money, you may be enjoying life, but you will be in this tree forever, never going through. Can I not worry about this route? Because this looks like a big task. Why am I stuck on this tree? Can I go somewhere else? Can I fly off? You cannot. Because what is mentioned by this tree metaphor, everything manifested. Everything manifested is this tree. You cannot cross the boundaries that Brahma has manifesting as Jagat. Tatu, that Brahma, na atyedi kaschana, na atyedi kaschana. Nothing can transcend that. See, if you are this jiva bird, and if you really understand this and contemplate it, you have no choice but to find a way, if you want to avoid perpetual staggering of this tree, to attain the root. So attainment means, do I therefore take this axe and then start hitting it like Brahma and Vishnu try to do? When this Brahmam Pushpam Pucham Pradishthate, it's a big column. One went downstairs, like Brahma, Vishnu. Brahma goes upwards. They could never find the end of it. That Puranic legend is telling you the Parabrahman is not transcendable. It is the ultimate. You just cannot escape that. So what can I do? So what happened after that for this Puranic story? What happened to Brahma and Vishnu? They realized that Parabrahman, if I take it physically as away from me, different from me, I cannot be getting liberation. I can perpetually searching for it, perpetually sticking to it. You can stick as a bee on a tree, stick there forever. You're not got Sayujam. So what they said, therefore, let me do the tapas. That's why you see Vishnu is always meditative. Brahma is always meditative. Shiva is always meditative. Any Swami, you make it as a manifest, a Shaguna Brahman in on Sanatana Dharma, it is meditative. Even Ma Kali, the tongue may be out, but eyes will be half closed, meditative. Because every manifestation show that the ultimate mukti is through intellectual contemplation of what? Of your true self. What is my true self? Jivo Brahma na paraga. This is Shankara's phrase. What is Yamadharma Raja's phrase? Etat vaitat. So we come back to the same singing tone. Etat vaitat. Etat means this. Vai means indeed. Tat means that. So this is that. What is it? What sense does it make? Does it make any sense? Does it? This is where I think we have to really uh, need the help of the gurus, acharyas, bhashikaras. And I just briefly touched this one because this is not etymology or Vyakarana class, but I think you have to really appreciate why we need bhashikara, why we need acharyas, why we need gurus. Because there is so much is there which we cannot comprehend. Now, what are we trying to make now? Vedas, if you take Veda Vriksham, it's Veda Vriksham, all these Kathopanaishads in the Veda Vriksham. So it's an upside tree. Veda's root is the Brahmam. The branches are the Shakas, the different Vedas. The leaves are different Veda mantras. So, how do we interpret these mantras? What language Vedas are created? Why it is a Sanskrit language Vedas are created? If you think that way, I have to correct you. Vedas are not written in any language. Veda mantras are like Sanskrit, but they are Veda Shabdaha, Apurushaya. They are all just Shabdam. They're just a particular frequency and noise. The Drishta see the noise. Now, if you understand digital computing technology, when you say analog to digital conversion, right? We do that, right? In those days, you have a gramophone record. And every time you plot that amplitude in the phase, the curve goes like this. Sine curve, cos curve. This is a continuous sounds is plotted in a graph. When you digitize it, what you do, because this is very difficult to maintain this kind of a sound quality, so they cut this into different pieces. Each curve is cut into 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. So if I cut a point in 1 inches away, do I have the good representation of the song? No. Because when I put the points, there's a gap there. So the finer you have the points, the better the quality. This is called a quantization. You quantize this analog wave. So when you buy a digital encoder or decoder, you will see what is the sample space, how much cutting it does. No, I'm not going into that technical part. So now Vedas is sound. It comes like this. So how do I have no meaning, no understanding of it. So I use my own language, maybe Tamil, maybe Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, Prakrit. Any language they were using those days, they heard this sound and say, okay, let us try to find out, decode this one. So they decoded, okay, if we take from here to here and here to here, there is a word. And this word can be this. So this kind of separation is called padam. Padam means a word. Of course, aksharam inside, padam. Then when you take the padams, you take lots of padams, lots of words, and arrange them in a particular logic. Padasamuham, there are different timing, context. It creates a sentence, vakyam. So how do you construct this padam to vakyam? You create a rule. You call it ilakyam or ilakkanam or grammar, vyakarnam. So vyakarnam is not Panini or Patanjali wrote. It is always there. They modified, they synthesized. So there is a vyakarnam you must study. You study the vyakarnam, then you go to the Siksha Veda, Veda Adhyayanam, and then when you listen to the sound, Agni Mele Prohidam, oh, you can now say, oh, Agni. That's why there is a intonation, tonal variation. It's a great sign. No other language has done like that. It so happened the Prakritam was used then the Vedic language, Vedic sound has given birth to Sanskrit language or Prakritic language. And other languages took the Vedic influence on it. So, grammar. Now I know the Vakyam. Now I can make the noise or sound of the Vedas and write into sentences. Ye tatu vaitat. I got a sentence now. Ye tatu, why that? Why you say like this? Because grammar says so. Why means indeed. Others mean this one. That means that. This is indeed that. That's the meaning. So Vyakaranam is okay to make this a meaning. But either this is that. What does it mean? It has no sense at all. Now, I think it's useful to spend 5 minutes. How does the scholars interpret the meanings of the sentences in Vedas? Primarily 3 ways. First one method is called Bedena Arthabodhaka. Bedena, Beda. Bedam means difference. Bedena, through the differences, Artha, the meaning, Bodhaka, revealed. That means you when you take a vakyam, now you know vakyam. Vakyam come from the padas. You know how the padam makes vakyam because there's a grammar. So I can now get, for us it comes very naturally. Rama ate an apple. You say it is a vakyam sentence because you know it. When I say just say Rama, apple, eat, house. You will say you are talking words. Now, if you say Rama, house, apple, I would still say it's not a sentence. Doesn't make connections. So all this comes very naturally for us now. But in those days, this is how they built. Now, if I take this Bedena Arthabodhaka means I take this sentence, I take the Vachyartham. Vachyartham means meaning, and I find the differences among the words. Example, Ramena, Banena, Ravanaha, Hatataha. Hataha. Hatam means killed. Hataha, killed. Somebody was killed. So that's a Kriya Padam, verb. Okay, now I know that grammar tells me it's a Kriya Padam. So it's a verb. I put it aside. Killed. Somebody is killed. What is killed? Somebody is eaten. Something is eaten. Something is red. That's an object. What is that? Ravanaha. So Ravanaha is an object. I differentiate as an object. Why? Because I have two other padam. Ramena, Bhanena. Bhana means this is the vibhakti, if you know it. Ramena means by Rama, Bhanena, by the arrow, by the arrow, Ravana was killed. So by the now you use logic and say Ramena, Ramaha is a subject. Bhanena, Bhanam is a thing. There's a connection there. So I can now say what is the subject, what is the karanam, instrument of action, what is the object, what's the kriyapadam. I make a meaning. Quite easy. By Rama's arrow, Ravana was killed. Nobody can question your interpretation. You see, when you interpret, who is learning from you must ask question. Why do you interpret like that? What gives the authority for you? That's why there is a rule-based interpretation. Okay. Sometimes, some sentences, phrases, we cannot use this method. This is the common. This is what we use for everything without even knowing it. You know, when somebody speaks a sentence, you look for the verb, look for who does what they did, on upon what. All this question, subject, object, predicate, comes through. Sometimes you hear, for example, Rakto Kataka, or a blue mountain, red pot. What is it? So there is a pot, okay, there is redness color, okay, but what is it? What is the connection? The pot is red. Even though I have two padas giving two different meaning, pot meaning has nothing to do with the red meaning, vice versa. But I now say red pot means, it means one. Why? There is a connection. Samsargena artha bodhaha. Samsarga means, Vedam means different. Samsarga means connection. Samsargena artha bodhaha. Sometimes some phrases you need to find the connection. See, this all looks very common sense. Why are we talking about it? If you write a code, my first job is write a compiler. I remember that talking about many years back. When you want to compiler takes your language and compiles and makes sense out of it. Today, if you go to Gemini or artificial intelligence, type something, it gives you an answer back, How does it do? It has to understand what you say. There is a grammar, there's a rule. Each token had to taken and merged. Sometimes you hear people say, Sanskritam is good for the computer language. And everybody says, yeah, Sanskritam is good. Why? Why Sanskritam is good? What does Sanskritam got which French doesn't have or English doesn't have? Why is that? Because the token parsing, the word processing is so well defined. Sanskritam, no matter which way the words go into the computer. Rama killed Ravana. I type this into the computer. The computer is processing it. We don't know how it processes each word. One word, one comes Rama, killed Ravana, third word. But so what happened if we interpret wrongly? Ravana killed Rama. Same three tokens. Finish. So the artificial intelligence programmers for the English language have to use so many different positions. For example, here, time positions. First word first. Second word joins the first word. The positional condition is there. Limitations, imperfect language. In Sanskrit, no matter. You can say anyway, they will be the same thing. Tamil is almost like that. All other languages, great languages like that. But Sanskrit is perfect. That's why this is okay. So we got two words. Bedena, samsarkena. Now take this phrase now we got. Etat vaitat. It's a perfect sentence. Phrase, good phrase, complete in sense. I say something that maybe is easier one. This is that Mukund, I say. So I'm telling Balaji, Mukund comes there. I tell, this is that Mukund. Lakshmi is watching. I said, what is he showing? He's saying, this is that Mukund. That means he might have talked about Mukund to Balaji before. But Balaji has not seen the Mukund. Now Mukund is here. So Raja is telling, this Mukund is that Mukund I told you. Therefore, Mukund is the same person, no change. Now, all this interpretation happens in Lakshmi's mind because she analyzes. But how do you analyze it? Whole Vedas. There must be a method for it. What is this method she used? Now, what I said just now, nobody will have question, right? That's how you take. Commonly, very easily we take, right? But you look at the techniques of it. So this Mukund, the Lakshmi thinks, this Mukund means, this means here and now. Here is a space, now is a time. So automatically, this Mukund is attached with what? Two other words, here and now. You bring in two new words to bring the meaning. Here and now, Mukund. Now, what about that Mukund? Now you go to that Mukund. That means there and then, not here and now. That is distant past, distant place. So what do you do there now? You take that Mukund, that and there Mukund, but what you need to do now, that and there I don't want it. That is not important. What is important is that and there Mukund is here and now Mukund. So I took the Mukund and added here and now. Then that and there Mukund, I cut off the that and there. Then Mukund is just one. You see? If you are cutting off something that you don't need, it's called Jagat, not Jagat. Not Jagat means the world, Jagat. Then Jahat, Jagat. Jahat means giving up, ja, going, giving away, absolving. So what have you given up now? There and then. That meaning you draw and then you just give it away. But then what did you do? You added here and now from the this. That is ajahat. Jagat means abandoning. Ajagat means not abandoning. You keep the this, but adding some interpretation to it. This means here and now. So that you throw it away. This you added new thing. That you throw it away is called jagat. This you add here and now is called ajagat. You're not throwing away, but adding something more. What is missing? What is now left? Two words. Balaji is. Balaji exists. Now you summon you bring it together. Sometimes it's called also Bhagat Tyaga Lakshana, but it's correctly called Jagat Ajat Lakshana. When do you use this? The key is in the Lakshana. I didn't label this point for other example. This is apple. Rama killed Ravana. I don't need all this. It's very straightforward. When I take a straightforward Vachyartha, it does not make sense. Like, for example, I give you another example. Wembley is India yesterday, I say. Okay? How can India be in Wembley? India is a country. Wembley is a small town. What I meant was the Wembley is the place, I keep it. India, I remove it and put as Indians. Indians were dominating. So if you look at it this way, it's a Bhagatya. You keep some of this and put it through. You need this because the Vachyartham does not give you a clear understanding. Please remember this. Don't try to give own interpretation everywhere, especially where the mantras. If they are giving, first you must look for anything or any statement, even ordinary life, anything somebody say, you take a Vachyartham. நீ போயிட்டு நாளைக்கு வா. You go and come tomorrow. If I say, if you interpret, oh, he told me because he doesn't like me, all that complication, right? Because you bringing your own intent. Vachyartham. You go today and come back tomorrow. So I go. But when you have this Vachyartham in front of you, but it does not make sense to you, illogical or improbable, difficult, then you look for Lakshyartham. And then you apply one of these methods. Here, etat vaitat can be only used by this tattva. Etat, this jivatma, indeed, that Paramatma, Tadeva Shukram, Amridam Uchyate, that Brahmam, Tadeva Shukram. That means, hey, little bird, Jiva bird, you are trying to find a way to reach the Brahmam. Don't keep flying here and there. You can attain the Brahmam, not even attain, you can't be the Brahmam, not even can be. You are the Brahmam with the realization because Etat Vaitat. Now, this is perfect for this Advaita Vicharam and bring it together. If I can somehow interpret the why as similar to, Why is it Brahmam? It can be like Brahmam, like. Can I do that? Or it is a part of Brahman, can I do that? Hey, you are nothing but that Brahman. Actually, it means that Brahman, you are part of it. You are a Angi, Anga. You are a branch of this big Brahma tree. You are a little mosquito in Brahman. You are a Nityasuri attached to Brahman. I can give a lot of interpretation, right? Why can't I do this? So, there is a branch in Veda study called Mimamsa. Mimamsam literally means divine enquiry, puja vicharam. What we are doing now in a way is a Mimamsam. Veda vicharam is a Mimamsam. So if we take generally, a Vakya vicharam is therefore Mimamsam. What does the Mimamsika do? They interpret the meaning of Veda Vakyas. How do they interpret? They use the Vyakaranas to find out the syntax and semantics of each sentences so that the beginning, end, in between are all well structured. So a Vyakarna we must have studied, Mimamsa we must have studied. Now I come to this particular kind of Jagat Ajit Vicharam, and how do I supplement my interpretation with some logic? For that, the third part, Pada Vakya Pramanam. The Pramanam is Nyaya Shastras, logical Shastra, reasoning. So, where is the reasoning coming from? Reasoning also coming from the Vedas, but just for analyzing Vedas, the Vyasacharya and Jaimini wrote two Nyaya Sutras which are outside of Vedas as a part of the Shastra study. What Jaimini wrote is called Dharma Sutra, and what Vyasa wrote is called Jnana Sutra or Brahma Sutra. So a Mimamsika, that means a divine inquirer, if he uses Jaimini's Dharma Sutra, that is the reasoning text, even to study the Dharma Sutra, you need a different process. You will make the meaning of all the Veda Vakyas with karma as the root, karma upasana as the root. Because the karmas are coming in the front of the Vedas, those Mimamsikas who are studying the Vedas with the Dharma Sutra are called Purva Mimamsika. Naturally, their inferences, interpretation would be justifying, rationalizing, withstanding, along with karma kanda. Everything is correct, except when you come to the Jiva Ishvara Vicharam. Because Jiva Ishvara Vicharam is beyond the karmas. So what do? The Purva Mimamsika, when they find such a thing like Edat Vaitat, you are that. What is the karma here? It doesn't tell you do this yajna, do this puja, do that, do this. There's no karma vakya. So this they take it as upachara vakya. Just a glorified artha vakya, they call it. Just a glorification. Just ignore it. All these sentences you don't need. And there was a time this Purva Mimamsika were dominant. They interpreted the Vedas and Dharma Sutra helped them. And they find out what you need to do to get a kingdom, how to win the war, how to attract a woman or a man, how to produce children, how to make money, what yajna I should do. Everything was there, it was all happening. So they have taken a path of this dharma, artha, kama, purushartham, righteous people, good people. But for them, karma upasana is to acquire punyas over papas, enjoy life here and hereinafter. And when they read the Vedas, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, Yetadu Vaidatu, it becomes Artha Vakyam for them. Because there's nothing about karma there. Dakshan was one example of it. That's why he ignored Shiva. Go away. When it is dominant like that, then it is propelling towards, in a way, a Nastikavada. Nastikavada means what? Na asti. There is no Atma, there is no Ishvara. When Daksha became a great Vedic scholar, he's doing all the yajna, he said there is no Ishvara. Ishvara is there. If he's there, one, he's a servant, because Vedas tell me, my Purvamimamsika tells me, if I do this yajnam, this palan has to come. Ishvara is a karma baladatta. He better comes and delivers. If it's a delivery man, delivery boy, delivery agent, why I have to send an invitation to him? Logical, right? Anyway, it's going to come. That's why he did not invite Ishvara. That is wrong. That's a different story. Why it is wrong is a different story. So when this becomes predominant, Ashwamedha Yagam, so they slaughter the horses. After the yagam is finished, they have to slaughter the horses. So Veda provides all kinds of mantras to do. So the mantra heenam happened there. Societal dharma nailed down. Those who cannot understand Vedas are left out. A small group was just enjoying this kind of karma palas. Then Buddha came, Mahavishnu came as a Buddha and said, look, stop everything. All this is nonsense. I just ignore Vedas right now. Be a good person. Do things. Do seva. See, that is necessary for that avatara to say. When a teacher comes to the class, the children are making a lot of noise. You'll stand up, stop, put all the books, stop, don't study, close everything else. Keep quiet. A teacher says don't study means it's wrong, isn't it? People took a mistake. We say Buddha said don't believe in Vedas. Then all these people become Nastikas after Buddha is gone. Poor Buddha was keeping quiet when the disciples went and asked them questions. They took his silence eloquence into a unfortunate response. And they say there is no God, there is no Atma. Sunyavadam. These believers also said, well, you don't need to worry about temple and all this kind of stuff. Do all this yajnam. So it was a chaos. 72 or more religions were there in Bharata Bhumi. When Parameshwara comes down as Adi Shankara, and then like how Bhagavan Krishna came to establish Dharma, he comes to establish Jnana and say, look, Dharma is futile if it doesn't have the Jnana. Why you do that? So there is therefore a requirement needed to interpret Veda Vakyas with what? Brahma Sutra. Jaimini Sutra is important for karma. You need to follow. But that is not complete. The jnanam comes from the inference of this. So this is called Uttara Mimamsa. Uttara means higher or the northern or the above. The Uttara Mimamsika scholars, they took Brahma Sutra and started interpreting Veda Vakyas. Naturally, they would use all the karma upasana vakyas. They did not negate them. They used them as important interpretation to attain Chitta Shuddhi. Karma Mimamsikas, Purva Mimamsikas rejected the Vedanta Vicharam. For them, it's all Arthavadas. But Uttara Mimamsikas said, no, all the interpretation of Dharma Sutra is important. You have to follow, lead a righteous life for many, many janmas. By attaining that, you attain Chitta Shuddhi. You are able to sit in a Vedantic class. You are able to inquire, and this kind of conversation interest you. That means your mind becomes unblemished. It needs a lot of evolution. You do that. And then you interpret this edatu vaitatu like we interpreted this way. Then all the Uttamimamsa aroused. Purvamamsika take a step down. They were doing what they're supposed to do, not climb the right over the Vedas. They did their part. The Uttamimamsikas sprouted everywhere. Gaudapada and Adi Shankara were the one interpreted the Advaita Vedanta, the ultimate. Yedadu Vaidadu means Jivo Brahma na paraha. What happened was, again, it is like a teacher telling in the class, stop making noise, close the books, don't study, listen to me now, sit tight. Now, if you just take that, that is not teacher's eternal teaching. It is the teaching needed there. So Bhagavan Shankara's time, he had to challenge all these people and make them realize the eternal truth there. And therefore, he mockers, he makes fun of this karma mimamsikas. But if that is his only motive, why should he write shlokas? Antam Hare Bulaga Bhushnam Archayanti Brinkang. Like this, why does he write shlokas? No, he knows what needs to be done. But there was an element of risk because many people fascinated by Shankara's teaching. Wow, I am Ishvara. Am I really Narayana? Or I am Shiva? Who am I? Oh, then they said, oh, I can never be Narayana. So I can be only closer to him. So I find a way to define Advaitam in a special way that I can be one with him in my mind and anubhuti, but I am actually separate. Because it is a fearful to say I am the same. Because I don't manifest that power. Some say, no, 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 they are different. No, no, Shiva Advaitam. Yeah, Advaitam is right. But the Brahman is Shivam. I am separate. Some take a Mayavi tattvas. Oh, they ignored the Brahma Satyam part. They took the Jagan Mithya part. Jagat Mithya, that word, that sentence has no meaning by itself unless you look at it in a whole way. The world is illusion. If you take that alone, they started saying, don't do anything. So, bhakti has gone down, Shraddha has gone down. So, only to improve the bhakti and Shraddha, great Mahatmas like Ramanuja, Madhvacharya came and established a special path. Hey, forget about Advaitam. You are not there at all. Just let me do this part. Have bhakti, Shraddha. Understand? This is useful anyway. This is not the inference of it, but I wanted to say about the Edat Vaidat for a long time, but I think this is an opportunity. So it must give you a certain reverence to Vedantic study. That's the point I'm trying to do. It is not just time pass and interesting thought. It is so much reasoning, so much scientific discipline, rigor. I've not seen a PhD paper better than Shankara Bhashya. Put it that way. Everything is defined. Nothing is undefined in the thing. And there is a rule for it. There is a Shastra Jnanam Nyaya for it. So we are very fortunate to study this Vedanta. I mean, you have to take this interest and study more, go to the great scholars and study more, everything. But the mananam is important. The shravanam that we are doing now, the mananam is important. So I will promise I will not go back to this first sloka again. So I think we have done it. So the second sloka and third, we will start translating. We can do faster. What we are going to leave today is with the conclusion. Therefore, the Brahma Vriksham, Pravanja Vriksham, the Adi Vriksham, the Samsara Vriksham, the Veda Vriksham, the upside down tree is just me. So all these branches of all my wandering without purpose, or sometimes with the wrong purpose. So I have to find a way to gravitate from here towards the Brahman. When I gravitate, the moment I want to go there, the path happens. This is the beauty of it. The moment you want to know it, to realize it, you will find right people, right guidance, you'll open up, and then you will achieve Yedatu Vaidatu. So what happened to the world when I am doing this? Will the world go differently? You will see the second mantra. No, the world will facilitate your mission because the world of Suryas and Chandras and rivers and mountains and everything else follow a dharma. Why they follow the dharma? Because if they don't follow the dharma, they'll be beaten up by the Lord. That is going to come in the second mantra. So we stop here. Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahana Bhunaktu.
Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Chakaviryam Karavavahai.
Veeryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadidamastu.
Yasvinavaditavastu.
Marvitvishavahai.
Vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Tatsat.
Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So nice.